Okay, 0406 boys, Elite One. Coming off a great league season, fall league season. We just wrapped it up. Last game against Hoosier, 4-1 winners, and a really, really good performance for us. Looking back at the spring, how nervous we were and how funky our guys got when we went in to play this game. I was a little bit worried that we wouldn't show up and stay on form, but that only lasted about 5-10 minutes. It definitely was there at the beginning of the game, but we moved forward quickly. We got that early goal, which the dribble move that was used before the assist was something that we had been laughing and joking about and playing around with at training all week. So I was very happy to see it used in the game and successful, and it created a goal for us. So yeah, and then when we conceded and went back 1-1 right after halftime, it took quite a bit out of them. So, I mean, we did little things wrong, but we didn't have any major mistakes on that goal against us. They just did a whole lot right. So they earned a really good goal against us. But other than that, I don't remember many shots. I'm not even sure if we had a goal kick during that whole game. So that shows the dominance that we had, and it just needed us to score goals, and it was there, and we scored. So finished our league season. I think that's 4-1-1 in the league, and we will have to wait to see what Liverpool does with their remaining games to see if we finish first place or not. Metro, that beat us earlier on, dropped a couple of games already, so we will finish ahead of them. And now it's just wait and see. With Liverpool, hopefully they drop some points with their remaining games. I did want to talk about what we were doing defensively here against TFA and against Hoosier. So let me spin this around real quick. So TFA, something that we have been doing, and we'll talk about TFA's goal kick here. So their goalkeeper taking the goal kick with the ball in here. Their center backs nice and tight, maybe inside the box, maybe outside. They're allowed to be inside the box as of this summer. That rule changed, so if you didn't notice that, the ball doesn't have to leave the penalty area before a player touches it anymore. We still have to stand outside of it. So then we've got our target forward, number 9, defending those 3 players. So here's where we have to change. When their outside back is out here and their outside back is out here, our 7 and 11, on a goal kick, they'd be pinched in because most goal kicks get kicked long, and we want to bait them to play short. So we don't want to be out here on top of them, but our right mid and our left mid pinched inside. TFA played with 1 holding mid, and that's where our center attacking mid defends. So these are our assignments in this front 4, and this is really important. The other assignments are pretty straightforward with 2 center mids, and we have 2 center mids with them. They have a center forward, and we have 2 center backs with him. And then they have 2 wide players out here and out here, and we have outside backs with them. So we're manned up all over the field on these type of plays, but this is where we go and make some mistakes, and we made some progress against TFA. So if this ball is played here, we need to make sure our 9 is approaching that ball. If our 10 or our 7 approaches that ball, so our 9 goes and our 10 goes, then this ball gets split and the ball's behind us, which we don't want that to happen. So our 10, our center attacking mid, has to stay disciplined and take away this pass. Our 7, this is where we make the mistake most of the time, was with one of these 3 players jumping to a center back because they look open. But if we come out wide and take away his passing options, then he won't know where to pass because all of his forward options are taken away. And most U14 players won't be able to play this ball into this area behind our back line from their own box. Now, with that being said, the Kansas team that we're getting ready to play in a couple of weeks absolutely will be able to play that ball. That's about a 55, 60-yard ball, which is ridiculous for U13, U14s, but they were playing it earlier this summer when we saw them, so I expect to see it again. So we'll just have to learn how to play the game at a little bit higher level quick. Okay, but what happens when our outside mid steps too high? So he goes up to that center back. So then immediately, this player is on the ball with our 7, with our right mid all the way too high. Now there's huge space, and now who goes to that player is the question, right? Does this player step up? Does our outside back step up and try to win the ball? If he does, then that ball usually gets played down here into the channel and we get 2v1. If our center mid steps out to win the ball, which our center mids have been doing a great job fitness-wise and covering ground defensively, so they go out there a lot, but what that leaves against good teams is that ball back central. Luckily enough, we have been better defensively than what most of the teams in our league have been offensively. So we shift and they can't find that opposite ball. But we still want to learn the right way because teams will be able to start finding that against us soon. And there are teams out there that can find that already that are our age. There's good enough players out there. So the main thing that we were doing at TFA, we talked about at halftime, was staying in our job. So let's move out to the other side. Same thing. Ball gets played here. We have to make sure that our 11 does not go to the ball. He needs to stay inside and bait the ball to the outside back. So he's trying to deny this pass into this area behind him, but force it into that player and then step on it. And like I said, with some of the older players, it's like a nice little bear trap. We're trying to snap that trap shut so hard when they do play that ball because we're standing there and that's the only thing this guy's thinking about is waiting on him to roll that ball too slow or to the wrong side of this player and then step on them as hard as we can and be nice, hard, and aggressive, trying to take that ball from them in a dangerous area. And what happens is the time that it takes our 9 to defend those 3 players, because he doesn't know which way it's going, so it takes him a little bit of time to get over to that player. This player just has to stand and get his head up and look for a good pass. And all of these players have to be so tight and so aggressive looking that he doesn't want to play them. And we have success. So that was great. And we really take away so many options for them. The only difference for Hooser was they played with 2 holding players. Actually, and they would play in. So let me get their back 4 shape because they played nice and tight and narrow. Very defensive minded, but it gave us a new look to have to deal with. So this is Hooser's shape. They played with, and then they had 1 attacking mid in here. So they played a 4-3-3 as well. These players constantly had to come back and defend us, which they had no interest in. So we talked about our outside backs coming up and being involved because their forwards did not want to defend. So we immediately got numbers up in those areas. We saw how difficult it was for these players, for our 2 forwards or our forward and our attacking mid to have success because of these 4 central players. And yet this is where we scored our first goal exactly in this setup. And we had great individual play out of both of those players and to finish it off. So we talked at halftime about how tight and compact this was so that we wanted to, if we had the ball here, instead of going straight in that middle, we wanted to come out, have all these guys shift in this direction. And then we tried to swing back the other way and attack out on this side because there would be a huge space to attack in. If we could bump the ball out, bump it back in, and then hit these diagonal balls out the other way. Little short, short, long, short, short, diagonal. Nice little combination plays, but we were doing that. Their outside backs were not up to our ability in terms of coming back to win the ball. And then when we served the ball central, they should have numbers up on us, and yet we were able to get in on the backside, in on the weak post, and finish some chances off. So very happy with the guys. Yeah, so that's some of the things that we've been looking at defensively the last few games. Now moving forward for us, this week at training, we'll have a little bit of fun, but then as the week gets a little farther along, we will talk about our back 4 shape and how we move. So we're going to talk about the distance between us and then how wide we can make this shape and yet still cut this pass off. The goal against us came in this area. So it was a pass between our left back and our left center back. And how do we defend that? How do we cover? How do we drop? All of those things, and how to react when that happens. And the goal would be to shut that down so that that pass actually has to go this way in front of us. And if that ball goes in front of us, then we will not have that goal against us that we conceded. But we had a great response, so I'm very, very pleased. Looking forward to a good week of training. We'll have next weekend off because of that rescheduled game. Hoosier game was supposed to be this coming weekend, but we rescheduled. So we'll have next weekend off, and then we'll go out and play some fantastic teams out in St. Louis. I'm looking forward to it.